There is tremendous commitment to this community that I think started in those days.
Here at the church, we had 3 college groups that were just waiting for something to happen, and when the opportunities to be socially active became available, people really came alive. It was good for the community, it was good for the church, it was good for individuals.
So the 20 years in that hotel struggle and 15 years in the mailing in struggle, it gave you a sense of perspective that sometimes it takes a while.
So I think you've done a great job, and you wrote the proposal that got the funding to get this all started.
People everywhere know about the accomplishments of Annie and Gordon.
We talk, we plan, and I think Gordon's really the one that pulled everything together.
It was ridiculous how many staff were working on it, but we just made do. And so it's amazing to me how much we've grown as organizations since then. A lot of the issues are still around. A lot of the same tensions, whether it's youth or education or housing, are still around. But we're not going to solve the problem overnight, and we just make things a little better, day by day. You also had the beginning of new institutions, new nonprofit organizations that were just getting formed in the early and mid-70s. So you had this strange confluence of activism but also institution building, fighting the system but also wanting to be a part of the system.
Getting people downtown at City Hall to take us seriously was not easy. We didn't realize it at the time, but we were actually being empowered by the circumstances and our responses to them.
If there's any Mr. Chinatown, it's Harry Chow. Yeah, not just because he's so good looking, but he just always had this air of calmness. There's always a sense of peace around Harry that just makes people feel better, even in real difficult and tense situations.
I do remember, Harry, that everybody looked up to you. Even just mentioning your name, make a difference sometimes in those meetings.
Well, Harry is so talented. He can make films, he can sing, and he can dance. And I love him.
The more things change, the more they remain the same. It's still important to keep working and to work creatively and to work cooperatively for the future.
I said, why do we have to work so hard for everything in Chinatown? It always seemed like it takes 3 times longer, and it seems like the government or the city policymakers never really listen to us. I think what's unique back then is it somehow became the rallying point, and a lot of the professionals really joined the community organizations and work as professional staff.
There was a civil rights movement, there was a war, there was disruption in the campuses, and very little was changing in Chinatown. Our college students who went to these schools around the Bay Area came back with new ideas, and they began to challenge some of the time-honored things that were being done here. So Chinatown didn't realize it, but it was bracing itself for some real changes.
Commitment. One thing that probably make us stay here, because all the issues are important. They want to make sure that we get some ultimate, accomplish something.
The importance of change and transitions and passing leadership on from one generation to another. Annie sort of personified that when she took over for self-help for the elderly.
She's such a charming person. And so articulate and really so very humble about her achievements.
During the 70s, the church with its 3 language groups really bonded together in supporting the Meilun Yun housing project.
So I remember with Cindy, with the Meilun Yun, I did a lot of loading and unloading of the seniors, going to march down to City Hall and attend those hearings, till late in the night.
That's when I got on board and decided to fight for Chinatown.
It was unbelievable when they actually started to tear down some of the old structures where the Meilun Yun housing stands now. And we realized at that point our efforts had come to fruition.
The whole community felt the victory. It felt like it was our victory.
Cindy brings with her something very unique, besides a very profound and deep dedication to both her faith and to ways of expressing that faith.
Cindy is really the personification of what it's meant to be a community volunteer. Cindy's never gotten paid for any of this stuff. She seemed to be always there and always had time for whatever meetings or hearings that's needed.
Cindy's great contribution to many of us who get bored with long meetings is the timeliness of her humor.
This is one of the funniest people I know, with that biting, sharp, sarcastic wit. And she wasn't afraid to, whether community meeting or the planning commissioner, just to come up with some zingers sometime. It was great.
I'm Jerry Lee. I'm the Community Affairs Manager for UPS in the North California District. UPS, which has been around for 101 years, really believes in delivering on their commitment to the community. And we have found that Cameron House is a very good organization that touches everyone in the community, and we just wanted to be part of that involvement. With Doreen and the Board of Directors, they've done a wonderful job, and we just want to be part of that impact to the community. UPS has been involved with Cameron House in several ways. One is the UPS Community Internship Program, where we have basically up-and-coming managers come and live at Cameron House for a month, but go into different communities to learn about the diversity in the city and to really give them a better understanding of the needs of people from different backgrounds. The other thing that we've done is, with support through our UPS Foundation, we've been able to provide a new delivery van for Cameron House. And just recently, we've awarded Cameron House a $40,000 check to help support some of the additional programs in these tough economic times.